Okay, welcome back. We're gonna get back to start weaving. And before you put it on the board to start weaving, you want to decide which side goes on the outside and which side goes on the inside. Um, so as you can see here, it looks like a whip stitch. And then on this side, flip it around here. It's got that horseshoe type pattern. So sometimes it just depends on what your preference is. Nobody will see it, but you will know. Um, I think I'll go with the horseshoes on the outside. So then you just slide it on your board, and so this little tail, you don't need it anymore, but you want to keep it long enough so that if ever in the future you need to tighten it, which you probably won't, but you just want to have a little bit there. So I just have about an inch and a half. Just get rid of the rest. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna weave with these two parts, with these two strings. And let's see, we'll start. So you start with the two strings, and you're basically going to braid, okay? And so you have, if you know how to braid, it's like a waterfall braid. And the third strand will be the hemp that's laying down the side. So we're starting with the strap. So you have 3, and it doesn't matter which way you start. I'll start with the left, and then you just start braiding. So then you twist it, get the next one, and once you've braided this part, this one in, you don't need it anymore. So you're just gonna waterfall braid all the way across. And remember, I'm doing 2 at a time for the hemp. Because it's easier and faster to go in pairs. And then the yarn, I've got 3. So that the size difference is the same. Well, there's no size difference, but the size will be the same. So if you're not getting the braiding concept, think of it as a twist. You just twist one side over, and then the part that twisted over, the strand hanging down goes over it, and then you twist again. And that's it. And you're just gonna keep doing this until the bag is finished. And one thing to note is that as you go around and around, you just want to make sure that everything, that this line here, okay, it's a little bit difficult with the yarn because it's not as hardy or sturdy, but you just want to make sure that your line is even. I know that sometimes you can get going and it'll go down this way, and if it starts going down this way, you just push it up or pull it down. And you just braid. So now you're at the end, right? You're just gonna turn it sideways, and you're gonna grab from the other side, And this part can just go underneath. Well, actually, sometimes it's easier to braid it in, and the next time it'll go inside. You won't braid it. Okay, so that's just to pull it close. So you're just going to pull it in, and then you turn the board and just go around. Okay, as you can see, we've come to the end of our string. And one side will always be longer than the other. I haven't quite figured out how to fix it or make it even, so what I do is I just cut it off. And so now, before you can continue on, you need to add more string. So we're just gonna set this down for a little bit. Okay. And so you're gonna take your string, and what I have found is that I do 5 arm lengths from my shoulder to my finger, and just outstretch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this length works for me because if I did it any shorter, it felt like I was continuously stopping to add more. And when it was longer, it frustrated me because the string would get tangled up. So 5 arm lengths is what works for me. You might have longer arms, so you might not need to do 5 arm lengths. So what I just did was did a second measurement. So now you have 2 that start out as the same length. And then so you put one aside, and you pick up your loom again. And what you're going to do is a square knot. So if you know how to do a square knot, then it should hold. And you want to make sure that you leave enough on excess string so that if it ever comes loose, you can just retie it. Because if it's too short, the knot might come out with use and you just won't be able to tie it back together. So if you don't know how to do a square knot, we'll do right over left, left over right. And then you just make sure that it's nice and tight. So see, I just have extra. And you can make it a little, just maybe like half, not even a half, quarter-inch shorter, but this is good length. So then you do the second one. Right over left. And that should keep it from coming untied for now. And then you just carry on. So at this point, I'm already starting to get tangled here. So you just put your finger in between the two and you just pull it through like this. See, it's getting all tangled. So bag weaving requires patience. Just know that the string will always get tangled. And every once in a while, you'll just have to see, look, see that? You just gotta figure it out. And it's only two, so it should come untangled pretty easily as long as you don't make a knot. See? And the key, I think, to making it easier on yourself is to just sort of toss it as far away as you can so that it'll be not as tangled. um, and then you just keep going, okay? And I'm just gonna stop the video here now because I'm just gonna be doing this for hours. Um, so yeah, good luck.